Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck and feeling stressed about unexpected expenses? Cannot seem to save money for anything, much less an emergency fund? Wonder if you really even need an emergency fund? Embarrassed about your failure to build a safety net? That description was written by me reflecting on my financial embarrassment. For decades, I floated through life on a string, and more than once, that string broke. Making money was never a problem. I just couldn't save money outside of a 401k. Every life emergency turned into a financial emergency. Ridiculous. I'm a grown man, but do I need an emergency fund? I've made it this far without one. Come catch a glimpse into how I turned my life around, beginning with finally solving my problem of not being able to save money and fully build my 6-month emergency fund fast. According to this story from CBSNews.com dated January 23, 2025, when it comes to savings, 59% of Americans in 2025 don't have enough savings to cover an unexpected $1,000 emergency expense. 73% of Americans said they're saving less for unexpected expenses compared with 68% in 2024. As it relates to emergency funds, 28% of respondents said they had enough to cover 6 months of expenses. 16% had enough to cover 3 to 5 months, 29% had enough to cover less than 3 months, and 27% said they had nothing at all. That means more than half of the country cannot cover 3 months worth of emergency expenses. I can definitely tell you I fell in that range for a lot of my life. Speaking of my life, let me set the stage and give you a bit about where I have been on my journey to securing my financial future. First, I'm Turbo, and thank you for joining. I'll make this brief. My story starts 50 plus years ago. However, we will pick up just before COVID hit in early 2021. Things were going great. Finances were coming together. I was recently off the heels of a business we bought after receiving a pension I didn't know I had coming. I also had received an inheritance, which helped pay off my debt and buy a house for my new wife and our son. My credit was great again. Everything was on the upswing. I was on my way to taking control of my financial house. And then COVID hit. The economy crashed. I lost my job for a few months and had to rely on my 401k. Of course, I didn't even have $1,000 cash available for emergencies, despite all of those windfalls you just heard about. I was taxed on the 401k distribution by the IRS, so assessed a penalty and early withdrawal fees. Great. I decided to sell my condo that I had prior to our marriage. I had kept it for a little while for a rental, but decided to go ahead and sell it to use that income to survive. Well, the income from the sale of that condo was taxable income as well, but I couldn't save any of it. We had to pay bills, so at the end of the year when we filed our taxes, those taxes were also due. Enter the debt snowball. The money owed to the IRS went on a credit card. Well, this credit card happened to have a 5.9% interest rate, right? Well, it just so happens that in the fine print it states that if you're late one payment for any amount of time, your interest rate automatically goes to prime plus whatever. It ended up being 29.99% from 5.9%. So when that happened, of course, my credit card payments went up and then started to get late fees. You can't make your minimum payments, and when you do make your minimum payments, the late fees eat it up. So do you really need an emergency fund? Well, let's fast forward to 4 months ago. So we're going to skip ahead 3 years. It's 2024, just after Thanksgiving and just before Christmas. My daughter's boyfriend surprises me with asking my permission to marry my daughter. That in and of itself will give anyone a bit of anxiety. Then I was informed a week later that I owed my part of the venue for her wedding in 2 days. Remember, the time is just after Thanksgiving, early December, just before Christmas. Then, the second of our 2 water heaters went out before Christmas. Just after Christmas, Cooper, my dog, cut his foot badly on a large broken glass bird feeder hiding under the snow. A few weeks ago, I had to have an emergency root canal, and in early February, my pool pipes froze and burst. To top it off, yesterday, I got bit at the dog park attempting to rescue my dog from being attacked by a pack of dogs. So to answer the question, yes, you need an emergency fund if you want to finally move your financial life forward and finally get rid of debt stress. But are you ready for change? You tell yourself you're tired of it, just like I did 3 years ago. 3 years ago, these emergencies would have resulted in a loan from my father. Now, nothing has changed. No stress, no loan, no credit card, no debt from any of these emergencies, including the surprise wedding. Are you tired of it and desperate for the answer? Finding my passion and a bit of AI is all it took to finally fund my emergency fund much faster than I imagined. How did I do it? Check out this video. Turbo